All right, so we're going to show you today how to complete this house or some such derivative thereof when we get there. Yeah, scratch house. Watch. Ready? Wait for it. I'm going to show you how to do this today. Watch, he goes real fast. Yeah, you're going to create your own today because we're talking about shapes, 2D shapes, like how to build a square, a triangle. How do we make a circle with a bunch of triangles on the inside? And then how do we have him say something? Some of you have already figured out how to make him meow. So you can make him scratch meow. But welcome to Scratch. This is Scratch Cat. Isn't he cute? So cute. Yep, and he's so cute. All right, inside here, your home screen should look similar to my home screen, correct? Yeah. Okay, what you need to do is click on Create in the top left corner. This is created in the cloud, so if you exit out of it and come back later, it auto saves for you, just like your Google Slides. They auto save for you as you go. Your template does. And it should look like this, correct?
Yes.
So we have some things that we need to talk about. Where Scratch Cat is, this little area off to the right-hand side, this is what we call his stage. This is where we're going to do some inputting on our palette. So, or I should say our script area. So our script area is here. This is what we're going to tell Scratch Cat what to do. When we hit go, he's going to do it over here. Okay, that's what's going to happen. And then there's a bunch of these blocks off to the left-hand side. We're not going to touch all of these blocks. It's very overwhelming, the amount of blocks there. We're keeping it basic, right? We're keeping it basic. But it will be helpful for when all of you take ed tech with me in the fall. You're going to see this, even though we're going to use Sphero robots in the fall. They also use these nice blocks. So you had experience with coding with respect to the script coding, is that correct?
Both this and script coding. I was video game development, so.
Right. So you probably prefer the script coding because it's easier to read once you get the hang of it. Much easier to read than block coding. However, with block coding, it's really great for us intro beginners because we can see what the blocks are doing and they just snap together. And the order you snap them together is the order that it does what you want it to do. Okay. So don't be afraid to play with blocks. I'll tell you which blocks to use and bring out. There's going to be many blocks that we're not even going to touch, but if you want to play with them, you are certainly more than welcome to. Right, let's see here. Oh, the green flag is the flag that we're going to use to make him go. That's the key to say go. We do need to bring out some blocks because we need pretty colors, right? We need him to draw something. We don't just want him to move. We want to see what he's drawing. So down on the bottom left-hand side, will you please click this little, I don't know what that would be called, but it's a little button on the bottom left. Some of these blocks might be familiar. Has anyone did Lego coding? You might have used Scratch to do Lego coding, or Microbit is something, or Makey are tools that are to utilize. There's also a new one called Fidgets. We'll talk about Fidgets in ed tech. Fidgets is another cool coding one where you have like a little game thing. Like you can get a free teacher kit and then you can code it to do a game where it's like tapping the buttons and it does things on your computer. It's pretty fun. But we don't care about all those things. Right now, we just care about this pen. So if you tap the pen, notice that a new block pops up on the bottom left so we can make him have pretty colors. Now, he's going to code exactly what we tell him to do. He does not assume anything. So every step of the way, we need him to code with us. What I need you to do is under the events, this yellow block, let's drag out the block that says when the green flag is clicked, and then we're going to put a bunch of stuff underneath of it. Some quick notes to pay attention to. notice we've got ourselves an X and Y table here. So right now, Scratchcat is currently at the origin. So he's currently at 0, 0. A little bit of mathematics for you there, coordinate system. And notice that he is facing 90 degrees because up here would be technically in trigonometry to the right is 0 degrees and then everything around goes this way. But he is facing 90 degrees if you're thinking of north as 0 degrees. So he is facing 90 degrees, which is what this is. Whenever we move him and we need to replace him, we can easily type back in here and do whatever. You also can give different stages. So if you want to have a pretty stage in the background, there's some pre-made ones by clicking stage, and you can change his backdrop. If you click the little cat in the bottom right-hand side, you can change him if you don't want to scratch cat. You can also upload your own picture into the background. So it's super fun. I'm going to keep it basic. There'll be plenty of time for you to play with it in the near future. Okay, so let's first build a square together. Should we do that? Let's build a square. So if I want him to start building, I'm first going to need my pen. So I'm going to click the pen and I'm going to say, put your pen down, buddy, because I want you to draw what you're doing. Oops, that's the wrong one. I put pen up. I'm going to move it off to the side. I apologize. Set pen down. You could also, friends, change the colors. You could set the pen to a specific color. Let's set the color to, let's do pink. You can do whatever color you want. If I'm ever going too fast, slow me down. All right, now we need him to move, right? If we're going to draw a square, we need him to move somewhere in order to, now the pen is down. Now he's going to drag that pen with him wherever he's going. So I'm going to go to the motion because it makes sense. If I want him to move, he needs some motion to do something. I'm going to bring down the move underneath. And I'm going to say maybe have him move 150. Do you want me to turn one set of lights off? There might be a glare.
Yeah, I just can't read the.
Well, feel free to come sit up front. Sit on the ground. Sit up front. Let's have him move 150 steps. You could do 100. I'm going to do 150. Yep. Yes, ma'am. Okay. All right. So envision this. The little feller, he puts his pen down and he moved 150 steps. Now what do we need him to do in order to start making our square? Turn. Which way do you suppose? Up. Turn up? Could he turn down?
Yeah.
Sure.
He
He could turn any way he wants to turn, right? So we need him to turn. How many degrees do you suppose we need him to turn? Notice I'm doing the turn right. We're going to talk about what this turn left feller means, but let's turn right. How many degrees? 45. 90. There we go. So tap in there and replace 15 with 90. You're good. Okay, so we put his pen down. We're moving him. We turned 90 degrees. Now what should we do? Why does it have to be 150? So it's a square. Why is that important if it's a square? Equal sides. Oh, you accidentally hit the green go. That's quite all right. You can, here, I'll show you. I'm going to take all of this stuff off and just put it off to the side. But in my pen, I can then go to the erase all button that you did. Then hit the green button. It should erase all of the stuff. Then what you should do is go ahead and change your X to 0, your Y to 0, and your direction back to 90. And you can type all of that in. So put him back to 0, 0. So now he's facing and should be back to start. And the direction to 90. And then I'm just going to pull the erase all and kind of pick back up where I started. All right, so we went 150. You said we now need to turn what value should we turn? 90. And notice that I'm going to do 90 degrees again to the right. Have we made a full square yet? No. What else do we need? Move 150 steps. Then what? Turn another 90 degrees. And then what? All right. Have we made a square? Yes. So if you feel confident, go ahead, hit that green button. Let's see what happens. He's super fast, isn't he?
Yeah.
But how could I make him now face the current direction that we were at? Like, what? Look at he's facing up. Yes. We could turn him 90 degrees one more. All right. Are we okay so far?
No. Give me a second.
That's okay. Now, while she's, yes, ma'am.
That square is crooked.
That's okay. It's okay if it's crooked.
So cool.
So we just determined that his side lengths are 150. We determined that he turned 90 degrees. What are some math questions you could ask students about this square?
What is the area?
What is the area of the square? What else could we have them ask?
Perimeter.
What is the perimeter of this square?
This way.
Yeah, what is the length of each side? Absolutely. So there's a lot of mathematical things happening here that we had to think about with the attributes of a square in order to put it on our board here, right? Okay, let's learn a new block. I'm going to take all of this off and erase all. And then I'll hit go when I put the erase all, so then all my pen marks go away. Notice he's still facing up, so I just make sure he's at X is 0, Y is 0, and then just make sure he's facing 90 degrees again, so he's back where we started. Okay, let's try to do a square. Would you agree that we repeated a lot of these steps? Yeah, we repeated this. It kind of got old. Repeat, 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 correct? Let's try something different. Let's grab an event block or this orange block. Grab out this repeat block. This is also known as a loop. What do you suppose a loop is going to do? Repeat the same steps over and over, correct? So, oops, I forgot, guys. Unhook here. We need to have him put his pen down and then repeat a bunch of steps. Pen down and then repeat. Pen down and then repeat. Do you think we should repeat 10 times? No, what should we repeat? How many times are we repeating the same steps? 3? 4. 4 times. And what are we repeating? Just the first 2 steps. So I'm just I unhooked it. You can unhook things from your blocks, and I'm gonna bring them and squish them in the middle. It will open up for you. So whatever on the inside is repeated. All right, when you're ready and yours looks like mine, go ahead, hit go. He is so fast. There's yay! Look at you coders, are just outstanding. There is nothing wrong with the code that we did with the loop versus the code where we just wrote it out step, 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 step. They're both the same thing. It's just that sometimes it's more convenient to put it as a loop to drag out less blocks, but they're the same. All right, now look what else. Okay, that's fine. I want you to unhook that and let's erase. Yep, erase, make sure he's at 0, 0 and 90 degrees, and I bring his pen back. I want you to bring out another loop, another repeat, hook that baby underneath. And then I want you to put our loop that we originally had inside the loop. Ooh. But I'm gonna need one more block to put in here, and I'll show you why. I'm gonna leave it as 10. Oopsies, I'll fix that. I double clicked and it'll automatically do what you want him to do. I'm gonna grab turn a certain amount of degrees and stick it inside where my repeat loop, my square loop ended. and in between this other repeat. So I'm doing a loop in a loop. How many total degrees are there in a circle? 360. And if I repeat something 10 times what gives me 360? I'm going to change this degree to 36. And I made a mistake, so I need to unhook this, erase all while you're making those last changes. I'm going to erase everything, and I need to put this feller back where he belongs at 0, 0 and at 90 degrees. Oops, erase all. All right, so right now I'm looping. So this is what he's going to do. I'm going to loop a square, but then once he builds a square, he's going to turn 36 degrees, build another square. Turn 36 degrees, build another square. Turn 36 degrees, build another square. So when you're ready, go ahead and click go. Isn't that fun? So he just made 10 squares, equally spaced out because they all were rotated 36 degrees from where he started. Was that cool or what? Yeah, where'd he go? All right. Let's also talk about going the opposite direction. So we focused him on turning right 90 degrees. What's going to happen if we have him turn left instead of right? What might that look like? So I'm going to remove everything, erase all. I'm going to verify that yes, in fact, he's at 0, 0, and 90. And then I'm going to take out my repeats here. I'm going to put my pen down, and I'm just going to put my square back in here, except from my square, I'm going to remove the square that's going to the right. And instead on my motion block, I'm going to grab my left motion block. And I'm going to replace it with 270. Do you think this will make the same square or a different square? Same square. Why do you think same square? We don't know. That's just a hunch. That's okay. It's okay that you're not sure. I'm gonna hit go. Let's see what happens. Ooh, it did create the same square. Why does going left 270 degrees equal to going right 90 degrees? What do you think?
Because a circle is 360 degrees and 360 minus 270 is just 90 degrees.
Right, absolutely. So if from here to here, this is 90 degrees, right? And so then he turned 90 degrees going here, going the opposite way, this direction would be 270 degrees because 360 minus 90 degrees is 270. However, most of you probably think in terms of 90 degrees here going clockwise makes sense to you. Going counterclockwise is a little more thinking on our part, correct? All right. What if we wanted to create a pentagon? Should we create a pentagon? Sure. I'm still going to use my loops. I'm going to erase him and start over. I'm going to use my loops still. How many sides are we going to have to change for our pentagon? 5. Do you think we can still go 150 steps? But our degree is going to need to change. Ooh, how are you? I'm going to go right because that seems to be more logistically thoughtful for us. If I go 90 degrees, that's going to start to make a square. How do we know how many degrees are in a pentagon? 360 divided by 5. 72. So 360 72. Look at all this math we're doing today. All right, are we ready?
Yup. Whoa, that was crazy.
There he went. Super awesome. What if we wanted to do any n-gon? Any n-gon.
It's an end gone.
What is an n-gon? Yeah. So what if we wanted to try this out for any gon that we want? So what if we wanted a 12 gon or a 10 gon? What are we dividing? 360 by how many sides we have, correct? Well, we're going to have to do a little bit of interesting things in order to make this happen. So I'm going to get rid of this fella. And we're going to erase all, start over. We have to do what's called a function. Make sure he's at 0, 0, and 90. I'm going to go to my light blue sensing buttons, And when I click, I'm going to have me ask a question. What question do you think we should have it ask? Perhaps how many sides do we want it to make? How many sides do we want it to make of our n-gon? I'm also going to need to grab out the answer block here. The blue answer block that's underneath it, just grab that out, put it off to the side. We're going to come back to that little light blue answer box that was right underneath where you grabbed the ask box. I'm now going to go to my variables. Are we ready? I'm going to grab out the set my variable to something. But if I look at my dropdown, I don't have one that says, well, what's the number of sides? So I need to create one. I'm going to make a variable. Our variable is going to be called number of sides. Our variables can be called number of sides. That's what question we asked, right? We asked how many sides. So our variable is going to be the how many sides. And we're going to set that variable to the answer that we give it. So right now, and I just drag and drop that light blue one inside. So right now, if I hit enter or go, notice he asks the question, how many sides? And we could say maybe 7 and then hit enter. But now it doesn't know what to do with it. That's all we've done so far is made it ask a question, receive an answer. Now we have to do something with that answer, correct? So now I'm going to say pen down. We're going to need our repeat block. This time, we need to know how many, we're only repeating it for how many sides we have. Is that correct? Right? So I need to grab this, this orange one that says number of sides and stick that baby right inside here so that it squishes inside. So it will repeat the number of times we told it to. I'm also going to make my steps a little smaller just in case. We noticed that with the hexagon, he kind of went out of the page. So I'm just going to make his steps a little smaller. Yes?
Wouldn't you have, since you made your own variable for my variable where you're putting the answer, would you change that to number of sides?
So it's pulling it from here. So your variable is the number of sides that you have. Good question. All right, but now, just like we said, you guys said that to determine how many degrees it is, we need to take 360 degrees divided by how many sides, right? So did you know that we even can do mathematics like a calculator inside here? Grab the green button, the operators. I promise we're not going to go too far down this rabbit hole, so hang tight. Grab the operator. Notice over on the left, we have add, subtract, multiply, and divide. What might be the operation that we need to do with our degrees? Close. Close. Divide. So I'm going to grab this green divide, and where 72 is, I'm going to stick it inside and it will just expand and pop in there. What are we dividing? 360 divided by the number of sides. So I need to go back to my orange buttons and grab the number of sides and stick it in that box. So I'll give you a second to make sure that yours matches mine. Oh, this is going to be so exciting.
No.
I won't go. I won't go. Questions? I know that was a lot of steps. This is the hardest one, and then we're going to back off and do circles. Where did I learn how to do this? No, no, you can name it however you want. I learned this because I'm a nerd and things like this just get me all excited. So self-taught. All right, when you're ready, go ahead, hit the green button. And it should ask the question, how many sides? He says, how many sides? Put whatever you want in there. I'm going to put 7 because that's what I started with. And then hit enter. And then he should do something. Maybe he didn't. Let's see. How many sides? 7. I typed it in with my keyboard. Why ain't you doing nothing?
Why didn't he draw? Oh, because we didn't do the.
Let's see.
You were supposed to put I put the
Yeah, here,
no,
right here.
What'd I do?
My variable. change
Oh,
that to-
oh,
That's what I was asking about earlier.
oh, I see. Number of sides. Okay. Thank you. So double check. Way to go, Justin, for what Justin just did for me was what they call debugging. If you're not sure what that term means, it means finding an error in the code. So Justin said, make sure you use the drop-down menu to choose the number of sides or whatever you typed in. So make sure it says that. Now we can try. Now we can try. When we hit go, he'll ask how many sides. We can type it in. I'm still going to put 7 because I'm a weenie. Yeah, let's see. How many sides did you choose?
Oh.
I would probably choose that. Put it backward. Yeah.
Triangle.
Yeah. Oh, because you didn't multiply. Okay. Did you find any errors that happened when you tried to make an n-gon? Was it kind of fun? All right, should we do a circle?
Yes.
Let's do a circle. So I'm going to keep all these blocks off to the side because we are going to end up using some of them within a circle. So I'm going to erase all. Make sure he's at 0, 0, and 90. I'm going to unhook my operators here using my pen again. I'm going to get rid of this part, get rid of this part. Okay. This is what I'm going to do to make a general circle. I'm going to repeat this by 360.
Wait, where's he at? Where's he at? Where's he at?
I got rid of all the other crap. Yes. That's because I'm going to be using them back and forth. If you don't like all of them, you can click on them and then just hit the delete button. They'll go away. I just kind of put them off to the side. The only thing he's going to do is what's hooked under when I click the go button. All right. This is pretty interesting. When you're ready, and he's repeating 360 times, going one step, turning 1 degree. Why do you think we're going turning 1 degree? Yeah. So when you're ready, go ahead, hit go, and watch him build a circle. Look at him go. Yeah, we slowed him down, didn't we? Woo. Go, buddy. Look at him go. I wonder, so would you agree that we're using with this particular one, we're using interior angles. So he's moving and then he moved ever so slightly 1 degree. And then he's going clockwise, right? 1 degree moving interior. What about if we still move 1 step, but let's go the exterior degree and go the opposite way. So let's go counterclockwise. What do you think our degree value is when we go counterclockwise?
Not 359.
Yes. All right, let's erase all. He's already facing the correct direction. And let's have him go. Look, he's still just as slow, isn't he? He is going because he's thinking in terms of exterior angles instead of interior angles. No.
How many degrees did you do in this?
Which one? In the previous one, 1 and 1. In this one, I did 359 degrees because it's the exterior angle. You're welcome. Okay, let's see if we can do things with other factors that multiply to 360 that would still give us a circle. So I'm going to put erase all. He's already facing the same correct direction. I'm still going to leave it. Let's go 90 and let's do 4 steps. Maybe we can make a slightly bigger circle. But oops, I need to make this degree turn right instead of left. We'll go right instead of left. Would you agree that 90 times 4 would be 360? So I'm turning 4 degrees. I'm stepping 4, turning 4 degrees. So I would need to do that 90 times to go 4 times 90 to make 360. Look at how much mathematics is in this. And don't discount littles. Like my little Allie, she loves to do stuff like this. And she's 6. Of course, she's not going the deep end of multiplying and things like that. But when you're ready, let's see what this kind of circle looks like. Oh, he's a little faster. We didn't slow him down that much. We didn't slow him down that much. All right. So let's say I've just made a circle, but now I want to make a square somewhere else. So right now he's back at 0, 0. But what if I want him to go over here or over here and make a square off to another location? How do I make him go somewhere else? Well, in order to do that, I don't want him to draw, because if I say go somewhere else on my mat, he will then continue drawing in that direction. So I want him to put his pen up and then move somewhere else. So I'm going to say pen up. And then I want him to move. So if I want him to move somewhere, I'm going to say motion. I'm going to say go to somewhere else. If I want him to go off into the right-hand side up here, currently he's at 0, 0. What might be a good XY combo somewhere over here?
5, 10.
Do you think 5, 10 would be, I mean, when he went 150 steps, he went way out here.
150, 120.
Okay. So let's go 150 to the right. And you said 120 up.
1500.
Oh, thank you. And then how would I have him build a square up there? Oh, let's do a triangle. We haven't done a triangle yet.
And down.
Pen down. Could I use a repeat for a triangle?
Absolutely.
And how many times do we repeat for a triangle? Okay. Then what do we have to do? Yeah. I'll build this and I'll come help. I'm going to have him go 100 steps. And then, ooh, if we're turning, what about a triangle? What would our degree value have to be for a triangle?
120.
All right, but of course I need to get rid of what he's currently at. So I'm going to erase all. And then I'll come around and help. If you're ready and you've got it, you can go ahead and hit go, but I'll come help over here.
No, if you click on the boxes that you're working with, they do that.
And then he'll need. That's okay. We'll grab this.
And I did. Like you really kind of.
Wait, why did you do that?
That was a little.
What is that for?
Yeah, I didn't know like.
I thought I was using. I was like trying my best, but I
Pull that down real quick.
I need a new prescription. We have a homework circle first, and then we'll over there. Coding and math.
It is a lot to process, but you're doing great. I want you to give your neighbor a high five and say, way to go, you coded today. Way to go. Yeah. So notice our triangle was kind of off the page a little bit. What might we have to do to debug this to make it come a little bit
Plus meta coordinates.
Yeah, adjust the coordinates is all we would need to do, right? Okay, so this is your goal, my friends. So I've done all of the directions. All of these we did together. Here's how we built all of the squares, the different types of squares with the blocks that I brought out. We talked about going backwards. Here's the number of sides when we did the function. You by no means have to do that. Here's how we drew the circles. All right, here is your goal. Your challenge is to make a design that contains 3 different shapes. We've learned how to create a square, a triangle, a circle. We did some art where we put a square that repeated itself over and over again. And then if you use a version of the square art, that's considered one square. Just because you repeat the square like Justin's doing a million times in a circle, like always looping octagons over and over and over and over again. That would be considered one shape. So you have to have 3 different shapes. Here's the example of how I built my house. These are the different blocks that I put together to build the house you saw in the video. So if you wanted to do something similar, but not the same. And here's how I built the sun. I first repeated 10 times, and then I have the square, and then I actually did a circle outside of the square, which is pretty cool. And then the purple blocks is where it says welcome home. So the purple block could make him, if you wanted to have fun and add sounds, there are definitely within Scratch. Let's see here. Here's the pink ones are the sound ones. So you could have him play a sound before he starts something, and the meow is the Scratch cat, or you could record yourself. So if there he is, there he goes, starting where he left off. All right, so there's other kinds of sound sets as well. So feel free to play around with adding sounds if you want. The purple blocks, if you want him to say hello or welcome home, you can simply put that here. You can have him say hello. So if I hit go, he does that, and then he says hello, and then he continues saying hello throughout his pattern. So please play around with those items if you desire, but not required. What I'd like you to do is create your own design that has the 3 shapes. How you create your shapes is up to you, whatever you choose to do. But then what you'll do is use Screencastify, Screencast-O-Matic, or Flipgrid, because we know Flipgrid does screen recording. Take a quick screen recording of your Scratch cat doing its thing with your block code so that I see all of that hot mess that we have on the left-hand side. It doesn't have to be clean or anything. It can be messy because learning is messy. And then I'd like you to upload that into this Dropbox here. Okay, ma'am.
Do our 3 shapes need to be like one motion, or can we do 3 separate?
You can do 3 separate shapes. I encourage you to try putting them in one motion, but if you're not there yet, and that's still something that you're uncomfortable with, it can be off to the side, 3 separate ones, okay? So this will be due Wednesday at the end of the day, so that if you run into any tricky issues with your code and you need my help on Wednesday during class, I can help you look at your code. Remember, all of this is saved in your folders, and then oops, cancel. So try again. So you'll be able to see it in your project page. When it's if you can't come back and do it all at once, it's auto saved as you go. Question. So you've got about 50, no, you got more than 15. You got about 20 minutes. You could possibly design something, get it started, and maybe even turn it in by the end of class. Okay.